The experience of watching Ratheena PT's debut feature, Puru, a devastating slow burn thriller, is akin to the experience of waves washing over you as you sit by the sea. Starring a top form Mammootty delivering his finest performance in a long time, the movie lets its story unravel slowly, leaving you to take in all aspects of the screen, even when it apparently feels like nothing is happening. And then the jerky climax gets a tonal shift to this experience, like a suddenly rising wave letting in salt into your mouth. But the experience stands even then for the amazing set pieces, the brilliant cast, and the overall subtle presentation of our everyday prejudices that eventually leads to a catastrophe. Today we discuss Puru, yet another feather on the cap of Sony Liv, as it keeps on evolving as the go-to platform for quality Indian content. The video will have some spoilers ahead, so if you're yet to watch the movie, you might watch the movie first and then come back to the analysis. Puru starts with a drama being staged, that of Takshaka and the curse on King Parikshit. We hear the narrator suggesting how the play has 5 central characters and watch him play King Parikshit, who declares himself to be the ruler of the forest whom all animals must obey. Ratheena's film, based on Harshad's writing, then slowly extends the same story and the theme into a societal forest that mirrors similar ideas of hierarchy and prejudices. Here again we have 5 central characters. 4 of them get introduced directly, covering most of the film, while the 5th one is hidden across the screenplay, only to jump at us during the climax. We will come to that climax later, but let's first discuss how Ratheena exposes us to the other 4 characters, and how these introductory scenes mark their identities. The amazing Parvathy plays Bharathi. We watch her collect her husband's trophies as the couple tries to get out of a house damaged by a fallen tree. Her husband Kuttapan, the actor-narrator from the aforementioned play, asks her to leave out the old trophies, but she denies and carries them out of the broken house, holding them close to her heart. Later we watch her being harassed at the marriage registrar's office as the officers comment on her match with Kuttapan while she tries to keep her calm and fetch the necessary marriage certificate. That's Bharathi, the gentle, loving soul, a believer in humanity, a champion of art, who never gives in to the conflicts as long as they can be avoided. Doesn't mean she is someone naive and compromising, as later in the film we realize how she had left her Namboothiri family to be with Kuttapan. But she still loves the same family and hopes they would accept her one day. And no wonder when we see Bharathi playing Scrabble, the word she comes up with is love. Kuttapan, her husband, is a loving and giving soul too, as his art would ensure. But his origin in the supposedly backward and oppressed community, his experience of lifetime have made him realize that predispositions are there to stay in the human society till the end of the species. He mentions to Bharathi that even if robots replace the human beings, these regressive customs wouldn't change. And he stands for resistance against all such customs through his art and actions in life. He doesn't take a single cheap comment from the marriage registrar and gives him a tight slap without any hesitation. He doesn't have time to negotiate with a similarly predisposed house owner as the couple look for a new place to stay. And near the end of the film, in a stunning set piece, Kuttapan holds on to Bharathi's hand as his heartbroken wife has to leave her ancestral home, spending only a few glances with her bedridden mother. He holds her hands in confidence as they walk out of the upper caste home as men and women look at them in disbelief. Women, all of them inside the dining area, and men, all of them in the living room. Bharathi and Kuttapan pierce through this conservative setting, holding on to each other as resistance meets love. Kuttan is the patriarch of this household, Bharathi's elder brother, a retired IPS officer who stays with his son Kichu in an apartment in the city. There's a backstory of the death of Kuttan's wife that gets revealed across the course of the movie. In turn of events, Bharathi and Kuttapan come to stay in the same apartment as an interim measure, ensuring both of the worlds now start to collide. We watch Kuttan for the first time as he's parking his car in his apartment, nearly killing a dog whom he doesn't care about. The food delivery boy in the lift asks for help in pressing the lift button, and again Kuttan ignores. It's not that their existence doesn't register for Kuttan. But like the present-day representation of Parikshit, his prejudiced self doesn't consider them worthy enough to be engaged with. And similar to the mythical tale of Takshak's revenge over Parikshit, there's someone trying to kill Kuttan as we come across the multiple murder traps set to eliminate him. Kuttan is more of a military supervisor and less of a father to his son. While he loves his son, it is communicated through passive-aggressive commands and not gentle care. Again, care is the word that Kichu comes up with in his Scrabble game with Bharathi. Kuttan is trying hard to handhold his son into his legacy of inherited prejudice and silent patriarchy, at times even overriding what's taught in school with his misplaced preconceptions. But as closing off your eyes doesn't take away the light from the world, insights keep reaching Kichu through his education as we watch him read about Gandhi's attempts to break social hierarchy in his introductory scene. And the same insights make Kichu understand the true nature of his father as we realize the hate growing within him for Kuttan and wait in anticipation to find out if he's the one trying to get his father killed. Now, as we talk about these four characters and their introductions, it might feel that the film works in black and white in establishing their identities. And here's where Puru differs from the films with similar themes. We already mentioned how Bharathi's gentle nature doesn't eclipse her resistance. Similarly, Kichu's fear of his father doesn't take away his emotions for him. Kuttapan has known the world enough to realize how prejudices will never go away, but that does not stop him from being at the side of his wife when she tries to mend her relationship with her brother. Parvathy as Bharathi and Appunni Sasi as Kuttapan are outstanding. The effortless chemistry and the grounded performances feel unbelievably real, and whenever they feature in the same frame, the love and respect for each other ooze out of their eyes. Appunni Sasi, in his confident countenance and silent valour, provides a clear impression of what his life has been, which often come out through passing comments of prejudgments he has faced. Watch out for the man standing behind Parvathy when she goes to visit her ailing mother. He is there to support his wife. He would be there whenever Bharathi needs him, but he still maintains a distance as the other that the family has imposed on him. And then follows the brilliant scene of standing by Bharathi in a moment of heartbreak. And it is this brilliance of Parvathy, the actor, who effortlessly communicates that feeling of grief that gradually changes into a scene of uplifted spirit. And that brings us to Mammootty and his unreal performance in the film. It is his performance which adds layers to this slow burn which could otherwise turn into binary storytelling. His Kuttan evokes sympathy and emotions within the audience even if we cannot agree with his adverse ways. When we watch him try to get close to his son, work out a friendship with him, or break down on realizing his son's apathy towards him, we feel for the man, wish for a happy closure. Bharathi feels the same in her hopes and concerns for her brother. And that's what the movie points at. It suggests how, irrespective of our emotions, love for our close ones, and our certificate-driven education, most of us struggle to break free from our inherited prejudice. Kuttan loves her sister, cares for her well-being, but still cannot come to terms with a relationship with Kuttapan. And that's where the slow burn approach works, as it takes us through Kuttan's daily routines, suggesting through small actions how he carries his preconceptions as a burden. His ideas of social hierarchies that confuse his past, threaten his future, and render his present inaccessible. Like the home video that he plays every day till one point, Kuttan can never move ahead, putting his prejudices behind. Ratheena chooses the perfect man who could have pulled off such a difficult role. Kuttan had to be Mammootty, the only actor who can express such contradictions and paradoxes of character with minimal effort on his face and body. The only star who would not hesitate to get into such dark shades. Look at the slight twitch on his face as the delivery boy enters the lift. Look at his silent yet sharp glance as he finds Kichu's clothes not in order. Watch out how Ratheena captures Mammootty sitting in more than a few frames while some other character is standing in front of him, intimidated inside. Now it's time to move to the climax of Puru, to the worm that comes to bite Kuttan. The tonal shift of this section definitely feels out of place with the rest of the film. The execution is too mainstream and the hurried pacing doesn't match up to the subtle play that we have in the rest of the movie. We were personally reminded of Michael Haneke's Cash and Venu's Munariyappu while watching Puru, both slow burns that stand out for their amazing climax. Like the two films, Puru succeeds in shifting the focus of an outside threat to one hidden in its central character, but the impact this build-up deserved in its climax goes missing. Nevertheless, it still stands to be a drama that implodes, not releasing its tension and action, but coiling deeper inside. We do not get many of them in our cinema these days, at a time where action speaks more than silence. Welcome Ratheena to the world of celluloid. We expect so much more from you in the future. That is all for today. Thank you so much for watching this review. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video.